What if you make changes to your code and then it stops working? How do you go back? Do you zip working versions along the way? Instead, you can use a version control system like Git. But before we dive into Git specifically, we should talk about version control in general.
Yes, in software development, version control is the process of managing changes to code or other files over time. It's like save feature in a word processor but for code. This means that you can always go back to a previous version of your code even if you made a mistake.
So, why is version control so important?
Well, there are several reasons. First, it allows you to collaborate with other developers more easily. Second, it provides a safety net in case something goes wrong with your code. And third, it makes it easier to keep track of changes and maintain a history of your code.
Now let's talk about Git specifically. What is Git exactly?
It is a distributed version control system that was created by Linus Torvalds in 2005. It's free and open source and it's used by millions of developers around the world.
So, how does Git work?
It works by creating a repository that contains all of your code and its history. Whenever you make a change to your code, using Git, you can create a commit that records the change. You can think of a commit as a snapshot of your code at a specific point in time.
One of the most powerful features of Git is its support for branching and merging. A branch is a separate line of development that allows you to work on new features or bug fixes without affecting the main code base. Once you finish your work on a branch, you can merge it back into the main code base.
It also makes it easy to collaborate with other developers. You can share your code with others by pushing it to a remote repository, and you can pull in changes made by others by pulling from the remote repository. First of all, you can clone the remote repository by running the git clone command as shown here. So once after cloning the remote repository, you can go inside to that project folder and you can run simply the git branch command in the terminal, so it's listed down in the existing branches. So if you need to create an additional branch, you can run the git branch command as shown here, git branch and the branch name. So once after that, you can again run the git branch command and see what are the existing branches including the new branch that you have created right now. So then you can again run git checkout command if you need to go into that branch. Here you can see even if we created the new branch called branch 1, but in the remote repository it still have only the main branch. So after that, what I'm going to do is like checking out to the newly created branch and doing some changes to the readme file by being in that newly created branch. Once after doing the changes by being in the newly created branch, then what you have to do is you have to add those changes. So for that you can run git add and dot to add all the changes that you have made. Once after that, you need to commit those changes. For that, you can run this commit command by including the meaningful commit message. Even if you add and commit those changes, it's still not going to reflect in the remote branch. It's updating only on the local branch. To reflect those changes in the remote branch, you have to run this git push command as shown here. Now you can see in the remote branch, the changes that you have made are reflecting. Once after that, I am going to show how to merge the branch. So the changes that we have made is in the branch 1. So now we are going to check out to the main branch and merging those changes in the branch 1 into the main branch. And you have to push those changes to reflect those changes in the remote main branch. After refreshing the remote main branch, you can see the changes that you merged from the branch 1 is there.
If you enjoyed this tech set, please like and share. If you have any suggestions, feedback or questions, don't hesitate to comment.
And to stay tuned, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. See you soon.